So thank you all so much for joining us for the Career and Leadership Readiness Institute information session. We're going to try to keep this brief so that if you have any questions, we'll have some time to answer these for you. We don't have any ASL interpreting students with us today, but we do have the closed captioning available. So if you need to select that for following along, please feel free to do so. So really, let's just jump right in. And just give you a brief history and some information about who we are. So my name is Tiffany Rozier. I work in the IET division and then in the NOVA Systemic department. I'm one of the STEM and CTE outreach coordinators and help plan career activities through with NOVA with a lot of our CTE programs. And my colleague, Brittany Hollis, I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Hollis. I'm also in the IET division. I am the career coach. And we both work on the Woodbridge campus, so you can find us there.
Awesome. And so today, if you have any questions as I'm going through everything, feel free to type in the chat and Brittany can try to answer for you. Or if it's something that we want to share with everyone in the end, we'll make sure that we do that as well. And one of the things we want to share, and it's not on this slide, but just so that you know, the Career and Leadership Readiness Institute, about a year and a half ago, Brittany and I submitted a NOVA Foundation Innovations Grant, and we really wanted to focus on trying to help our students be prepared to be more career and leadership ready. And we got this information and thought about how we could pull these different topics together based on what employers were telling us that our students needed a little bit more assistance in, as well as using something called the Jobs EQ report. And so that's where we got a lot of our data to come up with a lot of the topics that we included in the Career and Leadership Readiness Institute, and then some things that Brittany and I also did in our respective areas. So that's, just something that we think is really important to let you know. And even though we work in the IET division, this program is something that is for all students at NOVA. And so we're just excited to have you here. So that's just a little bit of that background history. But we're also going to talk about CLRI, what some of the requirements are, how to be successful. There will be a pre-assessment and post-assessment that we'll just kind of briefly mention to let you know that that will be coming later on. We'll also talk a little bit about your personal goals, like what you're wanting to get out of this info session today, but also what you want to get out of the Career and Leadership Readiness Institute if you decide to do the entire certificate track, or if you decide to do it as a more personal development and personal growth and doing different sessions that may appeal to what you're looking for in your career pathway right now. And then we'll talk about a few program logistics. So as I mentioned before, the purpose of this Career and Leadership Readiness Institute is actually to help provide you as a participant an opportunity to enhance your career and leadership readiness skills. And we also want to make sure that you are the most competitive candidate that you can be, or as an intern or a job candidate, to be able to work more effectively in a diverse workplace. So you would actually matriculate through a series of career readiness and leadership and professional development workshops and activities. We are going to be doing some things virtually, and we will also be trying to do some things in sort of a hybrid format in person. So for those of you that feel comfortable, or if it's a location that's close to you, that you can feel like you can come to that program session if you'd like. Those of you who complete the specific requirements will obtain a certificate of completion and recognition. And if you are an IET student, you actually will be eligible for a stipend upon completion of the CLRI program track that's specific for IET students and participation in a research study. So that is something that is an incentive if you are in those majors. We are also still looking at additional grant funding and hoping that we can provide some sort of a stipend for students in any major. However, just completing the CLRI certificate is an accomplishment in itself. And we have lots of individuals who have gotten jobs or internships or just feel more prepared in the workplace that completed it back in the spring. So we will make sure that throughout the CLRI experience, we will try to have some of them on to maybe speak to their experiences. And so just about the objectives, basically you'll enhance your career and leadership readiness skills and knowledge. You'll actually get to engage with external partners, so different industry partners, employers, individuals from our NOVA Foundation or our NOVA faculty and staff. As you all, some of you were on here early enough and got to hear from Brent, who is our Associate Director with Career Services. So it's a great opportunity to do networking. And, you know, if you can log on a few minutes early or come to something a few minutes early, we encourage you to do that so you can continue to engage with new individuals. But you'll also get a chance to engage with your peers throughout the different activities. So some of the other things that I just want to mention here, sorry, I've got my side computer over here that I had to click. So some of the requirements, you know, attending or viewing an information session, that's just something that we want to make sure you have the information. We will have a CLRI pre-assessment, which that will be more in December and January that we will have that information for you. You'll submit a SMART goal, and we'll talk a little bit about that process. And then you'll attend workshops and participate in career activities. So as one of our individuals who joined us early said that they were really wanting to make sure they can enhance their resume. And so that's really great. We're going to talk about not just, hey, here's what you do to build a resume, but it's going to have some interactive components. We'll have a workshop that's going to be done by different individuals with experience. You'll also have an individual resume review so that we can make sure that your resume review is ready. And that may be a combination of people from NOVA, it might be industry or community partners. So we're really excited about what we have in store for you all in that area. Also, the interviewing for success workshop and an individual mock interview. I don't know about, you know, what Brittany might say, but I know that I really love the mock interview experience because, you know, on the logistics side, it's crazy but fun trying to match all the schedules of the employers and all the schedules of you all as participants and matching up, you know, the times that can work for you all. But the feedback that we got from the employers who participated last year was nothing but outstanding, positive comments about how well our students did and how prepared they were. And that mock interview was actually one of the last experiences in CLRI. So we really knew that that made a difference. And several people actually ended up with some job offers, even though they were mock interview experiences. We also are going to focus on communication for success. And that goes into things in addition to like teamwork and ethics and collaboration. And then networking for success is going to be more of that, making those connections, networking, and, you know, kind of that type of a focus. And then there will be some specific other activities for your CLRI track. And so once we actually know, we do have all of your majors based on what you self-reported, and we'll just double check that. But we will have a Canvas course and you'll be assigned to a track that's specific to your experience. So for a general CLRI experience, i.e., you know, not an IET major or not a DCO or engineering tech major, pretty much what we just read through here, those are going to be your topics that you will work on and complete throughout the experience. You'll also, everyone would then need to complete the workshop feedback surveys, submit a final reflection journal or project, and a post-assessment. We'll have a program evaluation. And then probably the most fun that we had at the very end is in the latter part of April, we did it virtually, but it was a closing reception and networking event where we had the opportunity to have our participants receive their certificate of completion. We actually mailed them everything ahead of time, but and they got to hear from some various and VIP people, i.e. like Dr. Kress and the director of the NOVA Foundation, to commend them and for their work with the CLRI this year. And then the other parts, you would then complete activities and site visits specific to your CLRI track. So as you see there, we just kind of mentioned a little bit of the differences there. So as far as the other areas with the CLRI, the assessment, what we mean by that is we'll just ask you to complete surveys just to get feedback. Was that topic helpful? What could we do to make it better? A program evaluation. Hey, I really enjoyed this experience. I learned this. Maybe you could do this differently. As one person said in an evaluation to us last year, this should be required for every NOVA student. This was so helpful. So anything like that is really helpful for us to know, you know, if this really is something that makes an impact and a difference for you. And then also the final reflection paper or project. Again, I do have some favorites. This is probably another part of my favorite is that we just kind of give you an outline, like a rubric of like, hey, here are the things you need to make sure to include. But if you want to do it as a research paper type project, that's great. We had somebody that did a video project for us. We had someone else who did an infographic. We had someone else who did like graphic design and then kind of put some little words on it. So we really leave that up to you because we think that your experience is really your experience and we want you to relate that in how it was most meaningful for you. And then of course, the CLRI pre and post assessments, we'll give you the link to that prior to the start of the Institute. Post assessment will be at the end. Basically, how did you, how do you feel about certain career and leadership readiness activities, or, do you feel like you have a resume that's, you feel comfortable with that resume, you feel comfortable or confident in your interviewing skills, questions like that. So that's what we mean by assessment. So something that's not going to take a lot of time, but can kind of let you know kind of where you are. And then at the end, kind of see where you end up. So that's just a little bit more with the assessment. Like I said, it's just going to really help you shape your goals for the Institute and help you make progress towards meeting your goals. So goal setting. And you actually I won't do names because we're recording, so I'm going to try to remember to not call names. But in the chat, could you all maybe just type in, and even if we talked to you before the session started, but can you just type in the chat if you're willing, like why you decided to come to this information session? Like, what are you hoping that this CLRI thing is about? We know some of you may have taken some of our sessions last year, so maybe you're coming back and you want to complete them. But in the chat, could you just type like, what made you want to attend this session today? You could say it was for the stipend that you might receive. You could say it's, because you want to, improve your interviewing skills. Maybe it's because you just haven't really figured out, any job or internship strategies, and you're hoping that this will help you. So just in the chat, if you can type, what you, and it doesn't have to be your real goal, but just kind of your ideas of what, why you signed up to attend this session. But when we talk about goal setting, this is like one of our favorite quotes, and we'll read some of the comments here in just a moment, but whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, by Napoleon Hill. So a lot of what we can and can't do starts up here with, what we think we can or can't do. So that is so important. When you're thinking about your SMART goals, it looks like a lot of you are talking about, hey, your resumes and interviewing skills are what you want to improve on. Resume, have more employment opportunities. So these are great. So keep them coming in the chat there. But when you think about a SMART goal, we are going to ask you, once you do officially say, hey, I want to participate in the CLRI, we will have a registration link so that you can then sign up for the actual program. There is no additional cost for this. So if anybody's wondering like, okay, how much does it cost? Is it going to be on my, I got to pay money for this. So no, this is part of your NOVA experience. So when we say register for this is just meaning you're saying, yes, you want to participate, and then we can invite you to the Canvas course and you'll get all of the information throughout. But when you think about a SMART goal, we are going to ask you in January to submit a SMART goal, like something that's specific, something that's, what is the exact thing you want to accomplish? Is something that's measurable, making success clear. Is it something that's attainable? Like, is this possible for you to do this? And is it challenging? Is it relevant? Meaning what's the impact of it? Like, how does that really relate to what you're going through or what you're doing right now? And then is it time bound? What kind of deadline? Obviously, the CLRI will have a timeline here. So you may choose to say, hey, by the end of the CLRI, I will have increased my XYZ through XYZ experiences. So we'll help you with that. And we just want to share with you a couple of examples with some SMART goals. And I'll just read, one of them. But upon completion of the CLRI workshops, I hope to increase my knowledge about specific resources and strategies I can use to plan my career path. I also hope to learn more about how to be a better communicator in different situations, such as in the classroom, in meetings, and in interviews. So that's what a SMART goal can be. Just what is it for you? What is it that you want to accomplish? And then we want to make sure that you are successful. So what's really awesome is we're going to have one registration link where you can go and you'll be able to sign up for all of the sessions that are required, all the sessions that you just want to participate in addition to your required sessions. And you'll be able to view those all in one place. You'll be able to select all of them at one time if you'd like, and you'll get all the Zoom links and everything in an email. And what we do is, you'll see a little bit more with the timeline, is that we start this a little bit after the spring semester starts. We don't want to try to do it the first week that you're in classes and trying to manage your schedules and everything, but we want to try to provide the information so you can plan around it. So you want to make sure that you, as we share with you the deadlines, that you keep up with those. And then also, Brittany and I will check in with you all, and then personally make sure that you're kind of just checking in, like, hey, am I really on track for what I want to do? What do I need to do differently? And then we also encourage you to seek out career networking events, career days, career fairs, anything that's hosted by NOVA or any, outside of NOVA activities, and add that to your CLRI experience. So just in general, with the Canvas course, this is where we'll have links to your assessments. We call it orientation materials, but basically like our information session here, a SMART goal discussion forum, which is where you would submit your SMART goal. We'll have the different assignments and registration information. And if there are workshop materials, we'll include them there. And then information about the final reflection paper project. So as we mentioned, you would register to participate in CLRI, select all of your sessions. We would then invite you to the Canvas course, and that's how we would communicate with you throughout the remainder of the CLRI. So this is just a general deadline here by the end of January. We're going to have you submit your SMART goal in Canvas, and then your time to complete the workshops. Again, you'll see them listed, but it's going to be January through March. And then in April, you'll submit your final assessment, your final project, and then your program evaluation. And then we will have a date to be determined for the closing reception and industry networking event. We say virtual, but we probably will try to have a format that where we can be on campus in some capacity as well. So congratulations, you're now ready to participate in the Career and Leadership Readiness Institute.